Coming through.
That's the thing. You have to make a conscious decision literally on a Friday when it's raining in Dallas. You have to make this conscious decision. Do I want to go on this show with an amazing superstar stud and be intimidated and worked over mentally and physically by my next guest, or do I want to go to the bar and get a drink with my boy Corbin here? I don't know, man. I'm thinking that you know what? I'm talking to myself. I'm talking in third person here, okay? I think we're going to have this interview with a man, a myth, a legend, I gave this guy the worst impression of me possible because I got the date wrong when I was supposed to have him on first. Screwed that up. I texted him, just so apologetic. And then I got to move his time back an hour. And so I have just messed everything up possible with this gentleman, but we do have something in common personally that we'll get to in a second. But let me introduce the man, the myth, Scott Golden. What's up, bro?
What's going on, guys? And Curtis, I have to say, I'm probably the most lenient guy when it comes to that stuff because I constantly on a daily basis have to reschedule, change. You know, I teach pickleball for a living, so I'm constantly saying, hey, can we move that lesson back to 3:30 instead of 2:30? And
yeah, but so you're somebody, man. I'm a nobody. That's great. Well, I'm glad you're on, man. So we have Scott Golden here. Scott, where you at right now?
So I'm in Boca Raton, Florida. I'm actually at the club that I teach pickleball, which is Woodfield Country Club. Nice. It was actually, you guys may or may not know this, when I got this job, I had no idea what I was getting into, but I've been here exactly a year this month. Wow. And I signed on to be one of the head pickleball pros at the #1 rated club in the country for racket sport experience. It was rated one of all the country clubs in. So I didn't even know what I was doing when I got the job.
Oh, so you're like me and Corey. You don't know what you're doing all the time. Yay! No, I'm just kidding. No.
I have no clue most of the time.
Well, you know, I just had the fortunate opportunity to be the director of pickleball at T-Bar. Just found that out, and Dallas is so slow right now, man. Isn't it? Corbin's a little slow compared to where you're at the Mecca. It's very slow. So I'm sure you're kicking butt there, man. I can tell by your demeanor you're into it.
That's a big smile he's got on the other side of that camera, too. This guy excited. I mean, he's also got the sun over there, too. We got a rainy day here.
Yeah, it's rainy, man. So that's Corbin Gapski. He's our Diadem rep. He's in town. He's Scotty and him. We're talking shop a little bit. Where's Diadem at again?
Diadem is based out of Pompano Beach, Florida, which is just south of Boca Raton.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they're kind of close to each other here.
There they are.
So, Scott, sir, we have one thing in common, and it has to do. Do you have talk to us about your family? Where are they at? What are they doing? Are they doing all right?
Yeah, everybody's good. You know what? I have 3 brothers, so there's 4 boys in my family, and my mom and dad, and all 4 of us were very athletic guys growing up. We all played baseball, football, basketball, the traditional sports. And then in 2016, I found pickleball, and I immediately. I have a twin brother, identical twin. So if I came off the screen and he came on the screen, and we didn't talk, you would not know the difference because we look exactly the same. Well, once we start talking, though, you would immediately know the difference because he's very shy.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a triplet, and I'm the oldest. We're 2 minutes apart, and we're fraternal, thank God, and we're all totally different personalities. So. I had one. I think someone might be calling in. I don't know who it's going to be, but I had somebody tell me some history about you, and that was one of them. I'm like, well, I can't wait to tell them I'm a triplet. So that's cool, man. You guys are pretty close.
It's a very unique thing in life.
Yeah.
I found that I love all my brothers the same, but there's something different or something a little special with your twin that you just are going through life. So
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, but it goes boy, girl, boy. So we're 2 minutes apart, but. That's kind of cool. So your brothers, where's everybody at right now?
So ironically, I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm the only one that lives out of the state of Alabama. They all live within a 8-mile radius of each other in Birmingham, Alabama, or just south of Birmingham. My parents live in Helena. My youngest brother, who ironically is married and has the most kids out of all of us, he lives in Helena as well. My twin brother lives in Helena, and my older brother lives right next door. So they all live right there together. They all have kids. I'm the only one not married right now and no kids. So I'm pretty different than everybody else in the family.
So lucky. Corbin, are you married with kids?
No.
I hate both you guys right now. I really do not like you. No, I'm just kidding with you. No, that's great, man. So I guess we'll go down some questions here. So what'd you do in high school and college? Could you go to college, or what's the junior or younger man aspect of what you were doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I went, I told you guys off camera, my dad was military for 20 years. So I kind of moved around a lot growing up. I went to different schools. I actually ended up my junior year in high school, we moved from Illinois back to Alabama. So I spent the second half of my junior year in high school in Alabama, then played out my senior year, played baseball, football, did well in sports. But I'm a little guy. I mean, I'm a $150 soaking wet on a rainy day. So I knew my chances of playing, collegiate football or even baseball at the next level was probably not great, even though I felt like I had the skill and the heart. I really knew that my path was probably going to go a different way. Yeah. And so I ended up in the summers. So after I graduated high school, I ended up all through high school, really since I was like 14, I would work with my buddy's dad owned a landscape company. And so we would cut trees, we would cut grass, we would trim bushes, like all that stuff, just making $10 an hour. Yeah. Got into college. I went to a junior college in Alabama called Jefferson State Community College. It's 20 miles down the road from my parents' house. And halfway, like 2 years in, I don't know how many credits I had exactly, but 2 years in, I was like, you know what, Dad, like instead of you wasting money on a degree that I'm probably not going to use anyway, I'd rather you take that money and help me and my twin brother start a landscape company, and we can start making some real money. So I was probably 20 years old maybe, and borrowed $5,000 from my dad, and we bought a mower and a truck and a trailer. I think he actually bought the truck, to be honest, but we got started, and I did that for 15 years. And then in that time frame, I got married. I was married from 2008 to 2016. Yeah. I guess fortunately now, maybe, I don't know how I should say it, unfortunately or fortunately, I did not have kids. My wife at the time, we didn't know, but she couldn't have kids. Yeah. So that, I guess, was a blessing in disguise in some way. But yeah, I found pickleball in 2016. Wow. So then I made a complete life change in 2016.
So that was, oh yeah. Okay. So then, so that's leading to why pickleball. And you just said it, man. You just found it, and you found it in 2016. Was it a rec? Where was it at where you found it?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I got divorced in, I separated in February 2016 from my wife. Yeah. And then the divorce finalized in like September of that year. Yeah. So there was like a time frame where I really wasn't doing a whole lot. I was kind of getting my feet back and trying to figure things out. And then, that I knew the divorce was going to be finalized. So like I started dating again, and I met a girl who was, a little bit younger than me, but we started dating. And then one night, randomly, guys, this chick, she was athletic, but she wasn't competitive at all. So like,
what? God.
This is really strange. She never played any sports growing up or anything, but she had good hand-eye coordination. Yeah. She kept a tennis racket and tennis balls in her trunk of her car. I still to this day don't know why. And I'll never forget, it was a Thursday night, and I was at the time I had sold my landscape company, and then I went to work as a manager at a landscape company. So I was still kind of in that realm. Yeah. But I was working 4-10, so I was working Monday through Thursday, 10-hour days. And after work one day, she's like, let's go to the park and hit some tennis balls. I'm like, what? I'm like, no. I basically said no. I was like, no, I want to go shower, eat, and go to bed, basically. And she was very persuasive. So she got me out there to the park. And it's called Herdmont Park. It's in Oak Mountain, Alabama, or basically Pelham, Alabama. And there was 2 little courts next to the tennis courts that night. And there was only one guy out there. And he had a machine. It was called a pickleball tutor machine. I had no idea at the time. Yeah. But I'm hearing this noise, and I'm a super nosy dude. So I just yelled through the windscreens, like, what are you doing over there? and that was it. That was it, man. He put a paddle in my hand that night, and I fell in love with this sport immediately. I have a very addictive personality, so anything I do all out.
There you go.
And it's been a game changer.
That's great, man. Well, so it's tell me what like a typical day. Do you play a lot of tournaments still, or are you building the program like I am where I'm at, or you don't have time to play much, or what do you typically do these days?
So this is crazy. I've got the best of both worlds. I was very fortunate enough in April of 2018. I went to the Open Pickleball Championships down in Naples.
Yeah.
I was still living in Alabama at the time, and my career was. Hang on, sorry, I had a call there. My career was starting to take off, and my pickleball career was. And I went down there. I was short on change. I was short on money. I barely made it there, guys. I felt like I was going to have a breakthrough. I didn't know how or why, but I ended up meeting a guy named Riley Burgess, who at the time in 2018 worked for Dick's Sporting Goods, and they had just started a company called Monarch. So you can see my paddle here is Monarch.
Yes, I was going to
they
ask
had
about that.
started the program, and he had been following me on social media. At that time, I had built up maybe around 30,000 followers, something like that, 20 or 30,000, and was posting a lot of social media stuff. I was traveling all over the country, and I was doing it on my own dime. The first year I traveled, I think I spent over 10 grand out of my pocket.
Oh, wow.
And then the second year I was going broke doing that. So I knew I needed to find a sponsorship that could kind of take some of that burden. So ended up meeting him. 4 months after I meet him at the US Open, I go back to Alabama. I'm still struggling financially.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
And he sponsors me with a contract that to this day, I'm 4 years into the contract. I've signed
Wow.
4 years. I can't tell you how much of a blessing it was. It was an incredible contract. It still is an incredible contract. And I've got my own signature paddle called the Golden Axe.
Yeah.
It's sold all over the country in Dick's Sporting Goods. So why am I telling you that? Well, you asked me, do I get to play and all this and that. So when I signed that contract, it really freed me up. So from 2018 to September of 2021, I basically was free to travel the country on Dick's Sporting Goods dime, and met a lot of incredible people.
Yeah.
And along the way, I started doing some professional commentary for the PPA tour. Yeah. That was in January of 2020. I started that journey. Now I'm getting to travel internationally. I'm going to Bali, Indonesia this month. I went to Thailand back in March to do commentary. So I live a really cool life.
Yeah.
And I also was fortunate enough through one of my best friends here. She got me the job here at Woodfield. So I'm also a head pro here. So I teach. I get to play. Tonight we're doing what's called a Golden Boy money ball.
Oh,
so it's $50 a team. There's 8 teams. We play round robin, and the winner takes home some cash, and it's cool, man. And I do it at my club, which is the club in the country.
That's
so
a good
it's
Friday night.
They used to be big in the 90s, Calcuttas and stuff like that. We used to play those, and there's a lot of money made. So what's funny about some of these stories we have is, I think, do we have somebody that called in?
Yes, okay. I'm here.
We have a caller here. We have Scotty Golden Boy on here. Let's see if we can figure out who this is. And we have Corbin Gapski, the great Diadem rep and player, here with me as well. And I am the man with the not legend whatsoever, Curtis Reese. How are you, caller?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. So you have questions for Scotty Golden here?
Well, I'll give him some clues of who this might be. I met Scott in 2018, back in September, on a rainy day in Dallas, Texas.
It's rainy today.
Just like it is right now. Just exactly the same.
Let's go. What's up, buddy? I've been on this man's show before. He was one of the first. We actually did some commentary together. What's going on, buddy?
Two of my favorite words, no shit.
That's right.
Good job. Keep going, guys.
Well, Scott saved my bacon literally
Craig Bell.
On a Sunday morning at Lifetime Plano. It was about 5 minutes before I went on air with Tex-Mex Productions, and I was sitting there thinking, okay, now how am I going to build some stories? And I know about broadcasting pickleball, but I don't know the backstories. And I looked down over the rail, And who was it? It was Scott Golden right there, setting up his tripod and ready to Facebook Live. I go, hey, Scott, I go, you want to come up here and broadcast? He's like, really? I go, get your ass up here right now.
That's great.
He didn't know I was sweating bullets at that point. And
I had no idea at that point.
Oh, you got to be the Craig Bell. I call him, my producer, my man, Ren Miller. He asked me to call him Sir. I call him Sir Ren Miller, and I call this guy Sir Craig Bell. So that's how we roll here.
You're too nice. Well, it's a pleasure to be able to talk to the Golden Boy again.
That's right,
via
man.
the phone, not in person, but it's always nice to be able to talk pickleball. I just got one question for you, Scott. How many miles have you put on your car, do you think? All the driving that you've done.
Well, I'll tell you this. I had a little Toyota Corolla when I first started traveling, and I blew this is a crazy story. I blew the engine up in the middle of freaking nowhere out in
Arizona,
Dave Weinbach country. I was on this dead stretch of nothing but flatlands and snow out in. It was on my way to Winona, Minnesota to play a tournament, and somehow I don't even know how to this day really. Dave Weinbach. Maybe I texted him. I don't even remember, but I got a hold of Dave, I think, and he said, well, you're going to be coming right through where I live. Why don't you stop in and play some rec game? I get literally, guys, I'm not even kidding. I'm driving this little white Toyota Corolla across the country. I literally started in Alabama. I'm an hour outside of Madison, Wisconsin. And I hear this, wow, and clink, clink, clink. And I'm like, oh, no. So, I mean, this was my one shot to play high-level rec games with Dave Weinbach, and my freaking car engine blows up. So, true story, I coast to the side of the road. It's freezing cold. I call I had insurance, obviously. I call AAA. They bring a tow truck. Dude lifts it up on the thing and then takes me to the next exit. And I said, where's the closest rental place? So he actually took me in the tow truck to the rental place. I get this big 4x4 truck because that's the only thing they had. And I drove the rest of the way, but I missed the rec games with Dave. I didn't make it.
Dave Weinbach, is that what you said? What was his name?
Dave Weinbach.
Dave Weinbach, okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, not to make, Craig's a big mentor and a friend of mine, Scott. He's helped me, I've been around for over 24 years, and he was my first guest. And I asked for some names, and he told me to call Corbin. I got Corbin's number. And then I got your number, and I got Ford is coming on in probably November, and I got two other guys. I forgot they were there. Oh, Dom Greco came on as well. So we've had some good referrals. So, and obviously, if Craig says something's good, it's good. That's just all there is to it.
Well, thank you, Curtis. Truly, he is the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
Got the Golden Voice. He's out there pushing, promoting pickleball all over the world now, it sounds like. Scott, good for you. I was sitting here listening. I've been on for probably about 10 minutes listening to what you've been up to, going over to Bali and just all sorts of different places and experiences. Beats the Corolla, probably driving up to Wisconsin.
That's right. A little rear-wheel drive car.
Yeah.
Now I'm flying everywhere, so it's a lot.
Oh, look at you! No, I'm kidding. I'm just messing with you.
No, congratulations on your success. I know you've worked really hard. You were really, when I met you 4 years ago, you were doing Facebook live streaming. I was sitting there. I was really interested in what you were doing, and I thought that's kind of a opportunity to let people see other people. And that was right when Facebook Live was just really starting to make inroads about 4 years ago. It's a fairly new technology, and Scott was on the forefront of that live streaming and did. I mean, how many hours of content do you have out there on Facebook? Probably, thousands, right? More hours of content on Facebook than I do have miles on that car, that Corolla. Yeah, and how many followers do you have? I mean, you've got some crazy number of people that follow you and like, and I mean, it's in the thousands, tens of thousands. Yeah, here's what I always tell people. Inside pickleball, I feel like I've built a good following up on social media. I have around, all together with everything, probably like around 40,000 followers. But outside of pickleball, I'm the golden nothing, and nobody really cares
that.
what
That's
I
not
do.
true, man. Don't say that.
So I mean, look, inside pickleball, I feel like I built a good presence in the space, but there's a lot of room for growth. There's a lot of new things coming on board, and I actually got called an OG in pickleball the other day, and I was thinking like that's not what I want to be called yet. I'm still in my prime. What are you talking about?
Okay, OG. Well, make sure you let those followers know that you're on the show here, and we're in Dallas, and we're trying to build our brand here in Dallas here with the show, Scotty. But well, Craig, thanks for calling in, my brother.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and you all have a great show, Scott. Always a pleasure, and we'll look forward to catching up with you on a pickleball court somewhere soon.
You got it, Craig, and thanks for that first opportunity 4 years ago.
I knew you were the golden boy, and you've lived up to that reputation. So you'll have a great day.
Thanks, Craig.
See you, Craig.
Bye.
See, that was the one and only. It's like that curveball, Scotty.
I love it, man. That's incredible.
I think weird, but something my parents call me organized chaos, and I think Corbin's like, Curtis is crazy, and he's right.
I'm speechless over here. You got Scott Golden here, and you got Craig Bell. You got two of the best voices out there. I was like, I'm just gonna sit back and let the listeners enjoy this. This is good talking, right?
He's great. So, yeah, Scotty, my goal really, I started pickleball just as a random thing back at Royal Oaks with my buddy and my former boss. He's at Big Canoe now, Atlanta, building programs there. His name's Jeff Hedges. He was on last week. He just came to me and said, "You want to do this?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to try this," because my parents raised me like I'm sure Corbin's did and your parents did. Just don't, the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. So just keep learning. And here we are. I'm one of the few. I think Craig, I went to get certified with Craig almost 4 years ago. And a lot of those pros that were there, I don't see too many of the pros around anymore. I'm still here trying to build pickleball in Dallas, and it's starting to catch fire, you know?
Absolutely. Do you know the name Ben Paquette?
Yeah, man. I just talked to him like 2 weeks ago. You know him, don't you, Corbin?
They call him the godfather of pickleball.
Yeah, he's supposed to come on. I've got his boss coming on my show next week, Billy Freer. But, yeah, he's a really nice guy and a heck of a pro, man.
Yeah, so he and I started around the same time, and I remember there was a time at the Nationals in 2018 that we played each other, and I won't say who won, but you can look at the smile on my face to see the answer to that. But he's gotten so strong. His pickleball game has just gone through the roof, and then he's just a great guy.
Yeah.
And also, he kind of had a incredible weight loss journey. I don't know if anybody knows that. If you knew him before, when I met him, he was already like thinning up, but you could tell, you know, like he was a bigger boy and he's got a big frame, but boy, he has just thinned up. He looks about like my frame now.
He's teaching like 70 to 80 hours a week over there at Brookhaven. They just added more courts for him. He was where I was at before I moved into T-Bar.
Absolutely. He was always my voice of reason, guys. Whenever anything happened in pickleball that, you know, whenever you guys know this, like anytime you're trying to do something special and make moves or you're trying to like make your imprint on something, you're always going to have like haters or people that just don't want to see you succeed and have success. And you know, that sounds cliche, but it's true. Like you start finding out people that really don't like you and you don't even know why.
Yeah.
So I would always call Ben Paquette because he's always, if you know Ben, you know Ben's like the guy you can pick up the phone and go, "Hey, here's my situation. Like, think about it objectively and get me an answer of what I need to do." And he would always just like calm me down and say like, "Listen, at the end of the day, you got to take care of yourself. You can't worry about these people." And that got me through so many difficult times early on because I'm kind of a hothead. If anybody knows me, I can lose my cool in a New York second. So I've matured a lot in that way over the last 6 years. But when I first started,
I haven't either.
I was trying to fight everybody in pickleball.
Whenever we get pickleball here in Dallas, I'm trying to talk with two of the APP and PPA. I've talked with both of their in some form or fashion, head of like marketing or stuff like that. I keep saying you get some stuff in Dallas here, and they're really receptive to it. But Dallas is kind of delayed in a lot of things. And I love Dallas. I'm not saying bad about them. It's just how it is. And Atlanta's like that too. Slow to get to the game. Yeah,
I mean, I went to the Wagon Wheel. Tennis. I went there and played, and then we obviously. When I met Craig, we had to go to the Lifetime right there. But so it's been around for a little while in Dallas, but it is a little slower, I guess, picking up the momentum. But it's starting to happen now, whether we like it or not.
I love it. No, man. And yeah, I'm just going to keep it positive here. But do you know Charlotte Rivera?
I know the name. I'd be lying if I said I was.
Well, she's coming on next, and she was the one that founded the Texas Open that the PPA bought. Yeah, she's got a really cool story. She's coming on after you here. She's really cool. Nice lady.
Very cool. Very cool.
Well, let's have some fun here. Well, first of all, would you like to come back on in a future date when I don't fuck everything up like a date and move the time back?
Always. Hey, listen, I forgot you even did that until you reminded me, so don't worry about it, bro.
Oh, no, I feel like shit. Thanks. No, you jerk. No, but hurt my feeling. Anyway, so let's have some fun here, man. So let's talk about, I would say to this point, I got some fun questions. This is your last pickleball question, but what would you say is your most memorable or most enjoyable moment with pickleball thus far?
There's been a lot of them over the 6 years. I can honestly say that this doesn't feel like real life to me.
Yeah, wow.
I get paid to travel and play and commentate. And there's years I did it for free and nobody really gave a crap. So, it feels nice to be, I guess I would say like my best memory in pickleball is just being recognized, I guess, for all the hard work.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Yeah. You've earned it, dude.
Put that work, nobody really seems to care. And then eventually things start to happen. And then you realize, like, you sit down one day and you take a big breath and you just go like, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. I can't tell you the amount of times I was at a tournament where I didn't know how I was going to get home on Sunday because I didn't even know if I'd have enough gas money at that time. And things have changed a lot since then. Now
you've earned it, man.
I have time and enjoy myself. But the specific memory that comes to mind is last year I was traveling up to the Pacific Northwest for the first time, and I was teaming up with Julian Inglesworth, which is a guy. He was a high-level racquetball or squash, high-level squash guy, and we had never met before. And we actually in the second round of the tournament out in Bend, Oregon, we took down Jay DeVilliers and J.W. Johnson. We didn't. I should back up. We beat them in the first game 12-10, which is a huge thing for me. I've never beat a top pro team ever, not even gotten close. And we won 12-10, and I actually hit the winning shot on a forehand poach across.
Nice, bro.
I got it on video too. So
yeah. Well, that's. I can't. My mind was just getting on court with my old man for we were hitting for a while, but there's a lot. I'm gonna try to play that Texas Open in November. I may play the one in October, the Frisco one, but I'll get my ass handed to me. But it'll all be recorded and made fun of. But that's cool. But hey, what was that guy's name again? Julian what?
Julian Inglesworth. He was a high-level squash guy. Great player. He's a really good pickleball player. He lives in like the Oregon area.
Is that INGLE?
It's ILLING. Wait, hold on. Inglesworth. I'll send you the info.
Just send me that. Yeah, I want to. I'm taking notes of people who I'd like to have on, and I want everybody to, because there's always somebody out there, and I know Corbin goes through. I go through it. There's going to be haters out there, and there's going to be people who question, or say you're not this or that. But I'm a big believer, and I begin with the end in mind, and that's how I live, and that's how you live, and you make the sacrifice for it, and you start getting stuff comes your way. You sit there and you're like, wait, I don't have to do that now. Wait, you're going to do that for me, because I'm still like that. I don't like to delegate anything. I like to get it done myself because I don't want to burden anybody. All right, enough of that crap. All right. So what is your currently? There's 3 questions here. All right, what is your favorite song right now that's playing?
Favorite song?
Yep.
Oh man, these are good questions. Honestly, I'm from Alabama. I love country music. But I listen to, so I basically listen to Spotify on channels. So I'll just listen to modern country.
Yeah.
So to be honest, nothing. I'm terrible with movie names and movie stars and also music. But I would say. Gosh, that's such a good question, man.
I'll tell you what mine is. Mine is a band called Little Village. They came out in 1990. A Little Village, and they got a song called Solar Sex Panel. Jim Keltner plays drums. Nick Lowe plays bass, and there was some other stuff. Ry Cooter's in it. Anyway, the album came out in 1990, and I've been cranking that up. My old man used to crank it up, and anyway, that's what I'm listening to right now. So. So modern country. Well, that's a start. Well, that's not bad. Have you heard of Ryan Bingham? I've been listening to that because I'm watching Yellowstone.
I've listened to a couple of those songs. Yeah.
Okay, so next thing is You got to go with me here, man. Because what's your favorite movie?
Favorite movie?
You're next.
God, you are getting me on these because like I said, I remember Craig put me on the spot with this stuff too, and I was so bad at this.
Oh shit! I didn't
I'll be honest. I like a lot of Netflix, so I watch Netflix. I like true crime documentaries.
Yeah.
Also, the things so I either watch true crime because I just am fascinated with. I know this sounds awful.
No,
God, it sounds. I love like hearing about serial killers that got caught, or Jeffrey Dahmer was crazy when that and Ted Bundy, those guys. And then if I'm not watching true crime, I'm watching like the untold stories.
Yeah.
Like, so they did one on Marty Fish. They've done
Nice.
a couple of them. Like,
on the tennis channel. Okay.
yeah. So I like watching that kind of stuff, the true.
Okay. So that's what we're doing.
I really hope no one has the murder weapon of a pickleball paddle.
Okay. Oh, like this one. Oh yeah. You can't see it. Corbin brought, how big is this tied-in paddle you brought in? Probably like 3 feet.
Fit through the door.
He brought in a massive tied-in pickleball paddle just to mess with people. So we did a short earlier. It's huge. And so, listen, we are on Spotify now. The show's on all platforms, and you're going to be on. You're probably going to drop in about 4 weeks. So let's go. I'll send you some stuff, and you can spread it to the love. But man, you are everything and all and more than I've heard about you and talked to you, and I really appreciate you coming on. So before I let you go, Corbin, what's your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Yeah.
Right now, it's Wango Tango by Ted Nugent.
Oh, God.
Wow, he knew right off the bat.
I'm a sales guy. I'm quick. I'm quick. And like Top Gun Maverick right now.
Oh, shit. Okay, what's your favorite band? Mine's Band of Horses. What's your favorite band right now?
I love Fleetwood Mac. It doesn't matter. Like right now, that's the band. Fleetwood Mac.
He's awesome.
I want Scott to talk about it. If we got 2 more seconds.
Yeah, sure, man.
So his background, military family. But when I was on the show, I talked about my father, who was a farmer. Now he owns a landscaping business.
Oh.
And I know the hard work it takes to run a landscaping business. But also, Scott's probably got a great, just a perspective on what he's gone through in his life as a military family guy.
Yeah.
Scott, can you talk about that?
Yeah.
You mean like in perspective with pickleball? Is that what you?
Yeah,
you mean?
Or like growing up in a military family, just like how that just like groomed you to who the man you are today. That just Craig Bell just admires, Curtis admires, and now myself admire as well.
I really believe that being in a military family can have a lot of ups and downs. Mm-hmm. As a kid, you don't always understand why you're having to pack up and move. On average every 3 years, for us, for example. But looking back at it, I'm 38 years old now, and I look back on my life, and I believe like our family has remained really close.
Yeah.
We were such a tight-knit family because everywhere we went, that was who we had.
That's great, man.
We didn't have, our whole life in one area where we had hundreds of friends that we could call, close friends. We were literally just us. So we spent a lot of time camping, hiking, BMX bikes growing up. Like we played baseball on the travel baseball. Like we just did things as a family, and we're still very close. I'm going on a vacation at the very end of this month. I'll be getting back from Bali, Indonesia, and then literally 2 or 3 days later, I'm going to fly to Alabama to go to vacation with my family.
That's great.
And I look forward to that kind of stuff. And also I think the biggest thing is my mom and dad both are just stand-up people.
Yeah.
Like even if you take me out of the equation and I'm just looking from the outside, there's not one person in this world that can say something bad about my parents. They have literally spent their whole life. They've been married for over 40 years. They've spent their whole life serving other people and just being a huge blessing to everybody that comes into their life. And I've seen that by example, and I'm not saying my parents are perfect, but I've also seen kids raised in awful situations and dads who aren't there and moms who aren't there. And maybe even divorce is very prevalent these days, but divorce can really put a toll on a kid. And I just am so thankful, I think, for the life experiences that my parents gave me. Again, they weren't perfect, but they showed by example. Yeah. And I believe my dad's military background really shaped and molded him into who he was as a human being. And my mom the same. My mom's got some of the best character you'll ever. I mean, the stories I could tell if we don't have time, but like that's
coming back on, bro. So you be ready. There's gonna be a holiday fun special going on, dude. You're gonna be on that, so don't worry about it.
Love it.
Well, listen,
but yeah, that's huge, man. Military life is such a cool thing to have experienced. You know.
Well, listen, for all our future players and hopefully future professionals, if you have any questions, how would they reach you, Scotty?
First, you can hit me on. You can get a hold of me on any social media platform. It's Golden Boy Pickleball. I've got a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, and I don't do Twitter that much, but I do have a Twitter. I just don't use it. So yeah, that's it, man. Golden Boy Pickleball. You can find me. It's pretty easy. Not a hard guy to get a hold of.
So yeah, I'll invite myself on your YouTube show whenever you're ready, bro. So with that being said, Scott the Golden Boy, who said number one, family first, and also pickleball first. So, you know, if you ever see anybody who's like just thinking about playing pickleball, you just grab them by the arm and say, come on, let's pickle. Let's go. Don't even worry about it.
Oh.
Thanks again, man. Take it easy.
All right, guys. Take care. Thanks for having me on the show.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for all you do.
Coming through.